What's up, everybody? Thank you all for tuning into Kinetic Aesthetic. Hope that your Thursday is starting off well and that your week has been good. It's your boy Germ. Y'all already knew that, though. To the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mr. and lady who are viewing at home, thank you all for catching up with us. And thank you all for deciding to click play. Now, today, for y'all, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this Drake song, 1 a.m. in Albany, that he dropped yesterday. It's a preview to Iceman's dropping tonight. In it, he went crazy. He did his thing with the bars, but Drake couldn't help himself. Drake just had to start mentioning all of his enemies, all of his ops. There were disses at Dr. Dre. There were disses at LeBron James. There were disses at Kendrick. He even went at A$AP Rocky again. Drake is once again trying to come out here and he's trying to just play in our faces like we didn't all just see everything just happen, like we didn't just see him file a lawsuit and lose. He's mentioning Lucian Grange. He's doing all this stuff, trying to make himself sound tough. And he is basically he's making a song where he is just obviously and publicly in denial about everything. And I don't really have too much to say about this. I'm going to leave a lot more of my deeper thoughts on Drake for after I listen to Iceman. I might drop a full live reaction. Like I might just record myself, listen to the full thing so that y'all get the raw thoughts tonight. But I am officially going into this expecting that Drake is just going to pretend like nothing ever happened. I, of course, know he's going to mention everything. He's going to lean on the fact that he has all of these enemies who are publicly against him now because he loves to try to make himself a victim. But I have completely just given up hope that this is going to lead to any type of growth for him, that this is going to lead to him taking that next step, maybe realizing where he had went wrong in certain aspects. And yeah, don't expect anything groundbreaking from Drake. Yeah, this is just sort of pathetic from him. I heard the song. I listened to it just now before I started recording this just to make sure I wasn't just going based off of headlines and everything. And no, it just sounds like a regular Drake song. Sure, the bars are nice and everything like that, but when you actually sit there and you pay attention to what he's saying, it loses all credibility. He loses all sense of like, you can't get lost in it anymore because you see through Drake and you see what he is, and he's a bitch. He's just clearly a bitch. But when it comes to going past that, what I really wanted to talk about today, I wanted to have a little discussion about this guy, Chudd the Builder. I made the episode about him already this week. If you haven't checked it out already, you should definitely go do that. It's a good one. But Chudd definitely found himself in the news this week. All of the clout and all of the notoriety and exposure he was getting this week, it blew up in his face. He was going to court for what reason, I am not sure. But he goes up to court, has his little court hearing. While he's on the outside, he is trying to do his normal streaming thing, gets confronted or confronts. A lot of the details I'm unaware of. I'm not sure of. There's a lot of different conflicting information. All I know is he got in a confrontation with a black man. He ended up starting to get his ass beat. And then he got shot. And in the process of shooting the man who was beating his ass, he grazed himself. So he's in the hospital. He's already going through it. I am still unsure on the charges he could potentially face for having all this happen. I know that I read somewhere that it was attempted murder, but I'm not sure. I only saw that one time, so I'm not really able to verify it. But this is the quickest time I've ever heard of all of that, fuck around, find out, just coming to roost, just coming to roost. Because this man was tempting fate for so long, always going out there just making his entire career, his whole internet persona on antagonizing minorities and just trying to piss people off. And thankfully, people are seeing through it. People are getting tired of this sort of bitch-ass energy that guys like him put out into the world, and they're just not going for it anymore. There's clips out there of him getting confronted by even white people now, white little teenagers who are going out there who are calling him names and shit. It's not just like the one that I talked about in the first episode on him where it's just other kids who are saying the N-word. No, you got like real respectable young people who are seeing through how lame this guy is and what the bullshit that he does, and they're calling him on it. So you love to see it. You love to see this energy sort of really coming out, and that people aren't just going to just stand idly by and deal with this shit anymore. And it's clearly affecting him. It's clearly bothering him. Now he's starting to talk about in the live streams how his baby mama is literally changing their son's last name. And listen, you can try to pretend like that doesn't bother you as much as you want. Especially a guy like him who tries to pride himself on being like such a old school man and shit like that. He even came out and started dissing women once he started to reveal about what was going on with his baby moms, talking about how, oh, she's a woman, so of course she's a coward. And it's really getting to him. He's actually being affected by this. This is further proof that, you can try to like claim and you can try to rally against cancel culture and all this shit and try to make it seem like, all the people out there who are just trying to hold people accountable are the problem and that they're the issue in the world. But people only in that they don't hold any power. But as you always see, whenever those same type of motherfuckers start to feel the blowback from people who aren't going to stand by and just listen to the bullshit they spew, that's when they start to get real butthurt. That's when they start to get real defensive. And that's when all of a sudden everything, I'm not bothered by this, I'm still going to fight. No, this guy Chudd the Builder is going through it. He's getting rattled. Somebody's already beating his ass for this shit now. Now his own son he's losing access to him and losing the pride of being able to know that his son has his last name. He's going through it and he's feeling the repercussions for his actions. And I don't feel sorry for him. I don't feel any type of remorse. And to be honest with you, I do hope his life gets worse. I hope his life gets worse. I hope that all the people that are connected to him, I'll be honest with you, I hope his baby mom, I hope his son, I hope his outside family, I hope they aren't affected. I hope that they are able to, just sort of distance themselves from this, whether they agree with his beliefs or not, because to be honest with you, he's the one that's out here doing all this dumb shit. So he's the one that's going to get the blowback and the repercussions. Now, again, if his family, if his wife or whatever she is, if they believe all of that shit, if they agree with him on his beliefs, fuck them. But just being 100% real, I don't believe that they should have any type of death threats being sent at them. So anybody that is out there thinking that, fuck him and his family and they all deserve to, have something happen to him. No, I'm never going to agree with you. The sins of the father are not inherited by the child. That kid didn't do shit to deserve all of the repercussions, all of the vitriol that his dad is getting. I also will say that it's fucked up that he's using him as a shield and he's basically the one exposing him to all of this, but that's neither here nor there. But at the end of the day, I just really feel like Chudd the Builder, I love that his comeuppance has come this quick. And I love that he is hopefully on the downside and on the downswing of his whole notoriety and career that quickly. But like I said before in the first episode, I hope that we remember and that we understand that this is going to be a new playbook maneuver for a lot of these people. It's also come out, and I guess it's time to get into this. It's also come out about his past, about how he apparently had some type of sexual relationship with a black woman, and it's not the type of sexual relationship you're thinking. It is. Well, you know what? I'm gonna just show y'all this clip, and I'm gonna let y'all, understand for yourselves how they were getting down and everything like that, because it's wild.
Lily Venus here, pretty bitch with a big dick. It's literally in my bio. I'm only bringing this up because Chudd the Builder's cameraman put our conversation on Broadway on YouTube. Now millions of people know what I look like fresh off work, fucking great. But in the caption it said that black woman who used to smoke mid and get raw dogged by Chudd the Builder. Well, he's not lying. I already told y'all we used to smoke. He used to sell me weed. And we did raw dog. A lot. Me, him, and my ex-wife. I am a professional pegger. It is no secret that I perform prostate massages, if you will, for men. I've been doing it for a very long time now. Most of my clientele is white men. We sign NDA agreements. I talk about me pegging all the time, but I never tell you names because discretion is key. Confidentiality is why my client list is so long. But Chudd mentioned it first. I think that he said it the way he said it because the white supremacists were probably like, ew, you used to hang out with a black girl, shame on you. So you had to make it sound good. But see, here's the thing. I'm an egregore too. Lily Venus, hi. Hail the Great Mother. So I am all about enlightenment, controversy, occultism, witchcraft, and of course, love. So me talking about this is what my brand is about. Let's expose it, bro. So yes, pretty bitch with a big dick. I have not fucked Dalton since like 2015. He was a little chubbier then. His cheeks used to clap in such like the cutest way. Now Chudd, he doesn't even have a little chubby butt no more, so I probably wouldn't fuck him again. But I'm wondering, did you bring that up because you want to spin the block? Now, when I first fucked him, he was a virgin, and I'm having a hunch that he probably hasn't been fucked since me and my ex-wife. We can start small, buddy. I got you, but you don't have to fucking cap. Like, if you're gonna say that we fucked, say the whole truth, okay? Now, with that being said, why do I peg? Because it's a hustle and it helps me get through college. I'm still in college, but now I don't have a choice. I will forever be a top because I had a surgery 3 years ago. The doctor fucked up and chopped my coochie off. You don't believe me? The link is in the fucking bio. I have been this way my whole life. My ex-girlfriends can vouch for me. I am a top. I fuck men and I fuck women with my dick. My dick is bisexual. The pussy is gay. And that's just that on that. I don't know what else y'all want me to say. So I'm not going to give this any more attention. Today is Sunday. Happy Mother's Day. I'm not bringing this into next week. Stop fucking asking me where can you find Chudd. He's on Broadway. The same way I found him, you can go find him too. Bye.
So yeah, that is the gist of his relationship with that woman. He was into the pegging stuff. You know, he liked to, as she said, I'm not even going to repeat what she said, but it was some real freaky deaky shit that this man was into. And so I don't really know what to think of that. You know, when I hear this type of stuff and I see that type of, and again, that's an allegation, but there's already been clips of him hanging out with this woman or seeing this woman and they just acknowledge each other. This is probably real. He hasn't really come out and denied it. But listen, man, if you are into that type of stuff, this is another reason why we've got to end this whole homophobia like little thing or whatever, because a lot of times when you have guys like this that get exposed, this just shows that Chudd the Builder was just somebody who was trying to overcompensate. This is a guy who, with his past, with the stuff that he's been into and been doing, he probably felt some type of way about himself, dealing with his own type of, you know, self-esteem issues and shit like that. And being racist, being into all of this, you know, F the monkeys, chipping out, just being a guy that tries to push that type of attitude out there. That's his way of deflecting. That's his way of, you know, pushing the spotlight onto this other group over here and just trying to big himself up as like this champion of free speech and all this other stuff, because he doesn't want to champion what he's actually into and what he really believes in. So hopefully this is the end of Chudd the Builder. Hopefully people are able to see through him now, because especially because you're not going to get any respect from those right wingers over there now. Now that they have seen that you've been involved in all this stuff, now that they've seen you in a fairy costume and all this other shit, they're not going for that. That's not, no. So I don't know where he goes from here. Hopefully, like I said, his family is able to stay safe. Hopefully his life gets a little worse, but I'm not wishing for violence on the man. I'm not wishing for death or anything like that. I just like to see him get smacked maybe once or twice, you know, playfully. You know, a playful smack, just in case the guidelines listen. Just a little, nothing too harsh, nothing too bad. But yeah, this is consequences. And another thing that people have to understand is that if you have that type of baggage in your fucking closet, for what reason are you going out there trying to antagonize entire groups of people on the internet? For what? Like, unless you really don't give a fuck and you're prepared to deal with whatever the blowback is. Like, I know me myself, I already have something that I'm like anticipating in case I ever do blow up and somebody tries to find it. But like, you just gotta just know, and you gotta expect that. And at the same time, that's why you have to move with grace. That's why it's so important to just do that. You shouldn't be out here just trying to move like your shit don't stink, because people will find the source of the whiff. Like, they will take a whiff of your ass, see that you got some shit that stank, and they're going to find it. And I really don't understand why people continuously do this to themselves. Chudd, what were you thinking? Why did you think that this would never be found? And again, you're not going to be able to blame all this stuff on AI. You know, I saw a clip of him talking to somebody who brought up the pictures of him in the fairy costume or whatever, and he tried to talk about it being AI. You can try to do that with a lot of stuff, but people aren't dumb. And even if it is AI, nobody's just making AI pictures of you like that, Chudd. So this is an example of somebody who fucked around and find out. Same thing with Drake, to be honest. And hopefully, and I had to connect them somehow. And to be honest with you, at this point, all I can hope is that Drake is going to, you know, come to his senses at some point, stop living in denial, stop trying to be something he isn't, and stop just trying to act like we all don't see him for what he is. And you know what, Chudd? You can probably learn from Drake, because you are probably going to be in that same boat, because I don't see you learning. I don't see you getting better from all this. I see Drake and Chudd the Builder are examples of two people who are both heavy in denial, both who refuse to accept reality for what it is, and who are trying so hard to convince the rest of us of a reality that they live in that just isn't real, that doesn't have grounds in this dimension. So all you can do is pray for him. And if you don't want to pray for a guy like Chudd the Builder, all you can do is hope that, you know, he doesn't get murdered or killed. But that's all I got for y'all. I just wanted to yap at y'all a little bit about this. Iceman, like I said, is dropping tonight. I'm definitely going to have some reactions to that. I'll have a review for the season 3 of Euphoria. If I don't drop that tomorrow, it's probably going to be on Monday. And yeah, we're just going to go from there. I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in and checking us out. Kinetic Aesthetic has been fun. This has been another good week. I love you all, and I hope that you all have a beautiful rest of your day. This has been your boy Germ, and I'm out.